Nollywood was thought out.
By who though?
I did it.
Yeah, I can tell you there's one minister, former minister, I don't just like her because of her role in government grant. When we got some grant for Nollywood, the son became a filmmaker.
What is happening is that Nigerian authorities apply dumb regulation to smart people, and then they end up failing.
Henry Wankwere, he was the guy who made me shoot Living in Bondage.
Rumor has it that a certain Nigerian film awards are rigged.
Which award? Where is that one?
Let me see.
Ooh, that's hot. When I sit in the middle of legends, you know, my boss here, Skipo, we met when I was in Film and Video Censors Board of Before.
Yes. Okay, my name is Chris Obi-Rapu.
Are we allowed to call you Skipo? Because I think that's
Okay.
My name is Steve Eboh. I'm a Nollywood veteran actor. I came into this industry when it was 1992 with the first film, Living in Bondage Part 2. But my major film then was Taboo, 1993. And as God will have it today, I have the man that actually started all these things here with us, Chris Obi-Rapu, the Skipo. When he saw me during the audition of Taboo, he just looked at me and said, "Come, this is what I'm going to play." And that was the first major role I played in the industry. Before, when I went into Memorial Hospital and so many other things. But initially, it was language movies. Everybody wanted to do an Igbo film because Igbo film was the only thing acceptable to people around the world then, with or without subtitling. Before then, I was working in a company, a construction company called Kappa and Alberto, well paid. But when I finished Living in Bondage Part 1 and I went to do Taboo, the pay then was 1,200. And I said, wow. After 1,000, the 1,200 will be paid after the film release. But then you go around, people say, "Oh, this is the person, this is the person." I was so much accepted within my little community in Urile Modern. I became a star overnight. So I was so proud of that. After Living in Bondage, I did a Circle of Doom.
Circle of Doom,
no. After that, there was another film.
Evil Passion.
Evil Passion. So after Evil Passion, I sat and I said, "Look, there is future in this industry." Because in Evil Passion, I was paid 2,000 naira. My salary in Kappa and Dabato was 45,000 naira a month. But that 2,000 naira made a lot of sense to me. People started coming to see me in the house. I started gaining a lot of attention from people. I resigned from Kappa and Dabato and concentrated on filmmaking. So we continued making films. I must say thank you to Skipo because he so much believed in me. I remember one particular incident we shot at Takwa Bay.
Takwa Bay, that was
the first time
Taboo,
yeah, Taboo. The first time I was to shoot with Sam Loco. And everybody was afraid of Sam Loco. I thought he was great. I had a scene with him. No other actor wanted to play that scene because we were afraid of him. I met him and I couldn't. So many other words. Then people called me aside and said, "Come, you know something? You're a better actor than Sam Loco." I said, "I watched you act. You are far better than him. Don't look him, or just look above him, you will win." So I said, "Okay." So when I went on that set, it was something else. When Sam Loco threatened me, I said, "No, you're not talking to me." I was it was, but at the end of the day, Sam Loco gave me a bottle of Gouda. Today, I'm very happy for it. I've done quite a lot of things, but these days, I want to go back and watch the newcomers. But those early days was very memorable. These are the days I cannot forget. My uncle even told my mother, "Look, your son is useless." On a music concert. So you know, but as we now progressed, the same uncle came to me and said, "No, so no regret. because we continue moving. Today, I can tell you, I've done film in other countries. November last year, I was in America to shoot a movie. I've shot a lot in the UK and other places. It's just because of those humble days. But those days could not have been achieved without people like him. Because one, then directing was something else. In Nollywood today, we have lost a lot of things. One, there is no more rehearsal culture. When you don't rehearse, you get everything wrong. Because you could be doing it, you could be acting on the level of 80%, him 60%, me 40%. If we rehearse, I can come up to 60, 70, so you can tell a better story. But these days, you are shooting the following day, you are giving the script today, and you go. So a lot of things is being mixed up. But then the director will call you and tell you your character from the beginning to the end, how the mannerism, everything. These days, no director does that. What we do is action, cut, change angle. Even now, we have more directors going to different film schools. But the early directors will tell you exactly what they want to. And some actors become good because they were listening to the directors, not because they were good actors. But when you listen to the director and obey the director, you become good. There's so many of us we are good because I never read theater arts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
If you don't mind asking this, because you raised a critical point that I think is important. Is this the way you see Nollywood then, especially with the role of directors? And you mentioned our Skippo. And you sort of juxtapose it with what's going on now. And it's interesting for me to the comment you raised about how back then the directors, there was a lot of rehearsals, and these days, why do you think that is the case though?
Well, I think it's the Nigerian case. Everybody wants to make it fast. And people go to school to learn directing. And most of them were trained in the job. To call it NTA. I tell you something, we have one of the best schools for filmmaking in Nigeria. The television, the TV school in Jos, and the Nigerian Film Institute in Jos. These are two wonderful schools. That is why most directors from these two schools do better than other directors. Even those who went to New York Film Academy, some of us have gone there, but these people are far better because they are so deep and detailed in interpreting their scripts. But another thing about directing is relationship with the actor is very important. Most directors are very far from their actors. That is why we hardly make new actors these days. We hardly make new actors. You just come in, they want to listen to you, he has good English, he's fine for you, fine man, fine lady, and then they put you on set without really working on you. So the directors of them were actually deep. They were professional directors from the Nigerian Television Authority. And don't forget, they allow you the script before coming on set. Coupled with what I said earlier,
the rehearsal.
Rehearsals. Rehearsals. When you lose rehearsal culture, you lose artistic excellence. That's what people don't know. Rehearsal culture is very, very important. Directors of those days must insist. So you remember in Taboo, the house, our house in Lagos, we rehearsed for many days.
And which is funny now, because when people look back at Nollywood, even now, and then say Nollywood of 20, 30 years ago was just it was microwave movies, as some people describe it. But listening to you now, it appears there was a lot more rigor. It's amazing because that's not the story. The story was that people just gather in a room. I mean, you read some of the articles, people just gather in a room and 2 days, they'll make a movie.
So what really happened with this was that some people make the same mistake, what you say now is the same mistake they made, that Nollywood came from, it was just somebody imported tapes, and the tapes, he didn't have anything, I imported tapes, and then he put something there, and then he started selling. But it's a lie. Nollywood was thought out.
By who though?
I did it.
Okay. There you have
From the 80s to the 92 before it was made. People like Victor High, when he left school, Lancelot, the Masun, when he left school, Mado, Chikwendo, and a lot of others. There is Porter Cabin 8A, 8 and 7. That's the down one before we went upstairs. I was sharing that Porter Cabin 8A with Dan Ladi. Dan Ladi just came from Sokoto, so but Bako. So I was sharing the Porter Cabin there. Our secretary was in the middle. Then I had this office. Dan Ladi had this office. Now that was where we were gathering these guys when they came out of school. I was, because you see, I had shot with Ola Balogun 1976. And that became my transition from film, from television to film. They knew me in NTA as a musical and variety director. Then later, Obi-Van director. They didn't know me as a drama. But after shooting 76, NTA, it was Olushola that knew that I shot with Ola Balogun, because Ola Balogun came back and was trying to do a musical film.
Can I, because, you know, in our conversations, yeah. I know, you know, we're a bit so old school and we can get jaded. But for audiences who are going to be watching this, it's important that we say Ola Balogun. Everybody has Google these days. I think it's important to Google them and find out who Ola Balogun was. Because he was profoundly, I think, in my estimation, one of the people who really set when it comes to filmmaking or celluloid filmmaking, as well, if you like to separate it.
So Ola Balogun, actually, before he left Nigeria, Ola Balogun was the producer of Carl Penny Films. He was producing for Carl Penny Film. I think he produced all the films that Osi Davis shot for Carl Penny, Wole Soyinka's work, and Chino Achebe's work, to work in Nigerian embassy in France, in Paris. Then there he did his PhD. Then he later came back to Nigeria in the 70s. When he came back to Nigeria in the 70s, the first movie he did was Amade. I was already directing Atalade show, Babi show. That's the major musicals in Channel 10. Yeah. Channel 10, before we moved into National, and I started directing Weekend Special. I started the NTA dance troupe, then went on. But now, when he came back, that's in 76, he came to NTA that I worked with him as his assistant, because he was trying to shoot a movie, Music Man. He brought actors from Paris, and it was a big venture, and I assisted him. By 80s, we went to Sierra Leone. I took the New Masquerade, because I started directing New Masquerade. I was living in Lagos every Monday morning. Then we come to Enugu to shoot New Masquerade, and then go back to Lagos every Friday. I did it for 2 years. And within that period, I grew a lot of people. First of all, I had to stop New Masquerade, James Iroha and Clarus from writing New Masquerade scripts, because they were writing, but I don't believe in what they, because you see, there's transition that happened. There's the difference between local joke and national joke. There's difference also in filmmaking and television now, that between what provincial, national, then transnational and global. There is difference. What you are showing, like if I thumb up like this, to you Nigeria, what does it mean? Up you, go ahead. But there is a culture that if I do this, they will nearly kill you. Then how do you go global? without understanding the global language. But within Nigeria, we understood that fact. That was why we became big in the network. Then when we went to Sierra Leone in the early 80s, we found out that Sierra Leone was agog with a new masquerade program we were making in Enugu. I was because then I brought in Kemowo, Okwo Rocks, Peter Ne, Victor Kai, for them to start working on the script. Then we would direct them how to break it down, and then New Masquerade took another dimension. I say stadium filled up for us. I wrote one script where we played for the president. Then the president later, when was Momo, the military had taken over. This man laughed and fell down on the floor. The security came to us to know who did this. When they came to us, they said, "How did you get this story you wrote?" I said, "That's power of research." I went to I asked questions. I knew what was good. So I wrote the script. The comedy was too much for the man laughed, military, he laughed and rolled down on the floor in government house.
So I'm seeing the connection here, because let me just connect the dots. By the way, my name is Emeka Mba. I don't have the privileged background of these two legends. I come to this industry from a totally different background, from more of a, should I say, managerial in Nollywood. And as you said, it was not an accident. It was not.
I remember in those days in Enugu when I was doing New Masquerade in ABS studio, KOK them and all, we are dancing around in Igbo. They were clapping and dancing Igbo, this thing, with Emazim Perempe. They were dancing around the studio. That was where I met KOK and brought him to first acting was in New Masquerade. That where I was living in Transekulu was where he stayed, where he was directing. So I left Enugu for Lagos, back to Lagos, because you see, I kind of have this restless spirit. I can't stay in one production for a really long time. I build it up, I hand it over to somebody, I leave. I go and build up another one, I hand it over to somebody, I leave. The same thing with NTA dance troupe. I formed it, handed it over, I left. No, just that kind of spirit. So now, I said, this thing that we are doing there is making money. Then when he now came, I said, okay, after a period, my late personal assistant, Henry Wankwere, you know, he died when we were shooting at the Circle of Doom.
The Circle of Doom.
Yeah, or Evo, because he left the set and told that he want to go, that somebody invited him to Aba to help him cover this thing. Then he died on motor accident on Okada. He was the guy who made me shoot Living in Bondage. I met Ken Nebue, then I accepted to now do the production for him. So later in this circle of business, I told Ken Nebue, you are going to make money. So if people are still saying that there was no thinking about, I say you are going to make money. I will accept the 10,000 naira you will pay me.
You got paid 10,000. 10,000
naira. But all the actors, none of them got. It was only Ago. Francis Ago. No, only Francis Ago that got 1,000. All of them most of them got 100 naira, 200 naira. He paid me 10,000.
I mean, you could buy a car.
Yeah, he could. Now, but what I'm saying is that to me, I knew what he was going to make. I say, you're going to make money. But if you make the money, come and pay me.
Which he has never done till today.
But what I'm trying to say is that people who try to make it look like there was no thinking, no planning, no thinking, no execution, it was just something that came like that. Kenebwe just, Kenebwe has shot. I know he has done Yoruba, 1 or 2 Yoruba war, just like Mike Uriedema was doing in Onitsha. It was after I shot it, I went to look at their work. What were they doing? Just put the camera and then people will be running around. But I had already had a kind of transition. Yeah. And at that level of operation in NTA, level 13 officer, then, it wasn't like a small boy.
So you're obviously bringing skill sets from working with pioneers like Olabalogun,
yes,
doing film, and into...
And I'd gone lecturing in TV college and other places and that kind of stuff. So when people now try to bring it down to it was just some riffraff Igbo boys who just didn't anything, who managed to gather around, and yes, they brought what they brought was what I looked at concert, you know, but I knew that I can transform this
into something
good. Then I told the guy, if you make the money, you must. And then when he came out, there was no adverts. There was nothing. It was just, and within the weeks he came out, the thing had given him millions. Then I came back, Christmas of that year, 92. When I expected that the man will bring some I came back. I went to Badagry. I was on my location in Badagry. He came to my house in Yaba, that's NTA quarters. My wife said he waited for me, even the rain. He slept on that chair. He was sleeping. Then when he woke up after the rain, then he said, "Okay, you should tell me that he came." So when I came back, it was Christmas period. And within that period, I started helping a lot of productions, people. Any of those artists, actors, any of them who had a problem or had this thing, come to my camp. There is food, there is accommodation for you. There is camera, there is vehicle. Whatever you want to shoot, I will help you. So I came back, I asked my wife, how, he said the bank, I said, did he give any of the children Christmas something? I said, no. I said, did he give you anything for Christmas? He said, no. I said, that man is not a good man. I won't work with him. That was why I did not do part 2.
I was telling some people the other night in Abuja that I think I may have been responsible for part 1, part 2, part 3 kind of issues. Because when we started acquisition, we used to do this thing where we had a plan to do super series, you know, do mini series, take a movie and recut it into a couple of, but don't blame me for that. You guys were also doing it. But so I did acquisition for MultiChoice for about 9 years, and I think just before I left, I used to fight with them to say, let's do an all Africa channel, and they would say, no, Emeka, no, this one, that one. You know, I managed to convince them, confuse them, and we ended up doing Africa Magic. We had some disagreements, so I left the group 2003. After 8.5, almost 9 years. Then I left, started a business, which was funny. It's called 234 On Demand. It's a funny business I was doing then, which is a bit like what, what's his name, started doing later on with, what's this young man in the UK that started a streaming thing on YouTube then? Iroko. Yeah, I started 234 On Demand. But that didn't go well. The technology at that time was not ready for internet streaming in the early 2000s. Then I found myself in the Film and Video Censors Board. And this was a time, I think, that Nollywood was really in ascendancy. Nollywood was everywhere. But Nollywood has a branding problem. It had a serious branding problem. And I guess because I had worked with this group, this MultiChoice group, I understood it. I saw what the thing was. We needed to profile the industry. We needed to give it a name and a profile. But Censors Board was interesting. I learned how to be a regulator and how not to regulate. You know, I think that where we are today, and I'm very grateful to Skip Eboh for sort of setting the path. But we, I think, have to go back to some of those things that are really made Nollywood stand out. You know, especially what you were saying about the rigors of rehearsal, of getting directors who understand what the directing business. I'm not saying there are good directors today in Hollywood. There are standout directors. Ni Akimolayan, I always mention his name. There's a wonderful young director from Enugu here. I think his name is Dika or Former. Brilliant guy. He did a experimental movie. He does short movies. The one called Quiet Mondays, which is really, I think you should see it. Which explores this our sit-at-home Mondays, and you know he's very level-headed, very thoughtful young filmmaker. I don't know how many of you saw Keoke's rant the other day on the how Asaba, the YouTube things. You know, industry is going in different, but there has to be some form of leadership. I don't know what's your perception with regards to some of the challenges and some of the things that are happening now, and what you think about it.
One with Emeka Mba coming in as censor board DG, but we never liked you.
It's good you're telling me now.
Yes, we never did, because we thought initially it was coming from DSTV to come and sell Nollywood completely. That was the gossip then. But you came in, you brought in so many innovations, branding particularly, and I think you had the support of the government then, and we came to like you, and everybody wanted to identify with you, because you were actually going to meet the practitioners, the stakeholders, directly. You go to meet them. Now we talk about the challenges of the present day filmmakers. Let me talk more about the actors.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, structure. We have an actors guild. Once you become a star, you feel you're okay.
You're bigger than the
guild. Now, if the guild say don't enter a vehicle without putting on the seat belt, because you are a star, you can enter a vehicle and even drive with your legs on the steering. What happened last time? No life jacket, because you are a superstar. Well, let's look up to you. So I think what we should do now is educate these young ones. Everybody now is a filmmaker. And they make so much money from it. So you don't regulate them. That is one of the challenges. Anybody, you can just bring anybody from anywhere, he's an actor. One, there is no government presence in Nollywood.
But the question is, what kind of government, I mean, I'm sorry to cut you in, but what kind of government presence should we have? I'm always saying that when we say government should come in, I think we should be explicit in how we should be the one to tell them where, because if we give them a blank check,
That's it.
I've worked in government, and I often tell people that
When I say government coming in, if I want to shoot the film now that has to do with the airport, I can't get it in Nigeria.
Okay. Okay, that's one
I
area.
want to shoot a film with uniform, custom uniform, I can't get it. So these are the places areas we want government to intervene.
Okay.
I'm not saying they should come and regulate for us. No. They should to come and organize us. No. Now, like issue of YouTube, we need them to be censored. If we really want to sustain this industry, they must be censored or classified. It's very important. I don't believe in censorship.
No, I agree with you. There has to be some form of classification. I completely agree.
I believe in classification. Let them classify them. Let them regulate them. Because it's coming out too bad. So when we talk about government, you know what funny thing? When government bring grant, it doesn't go around. Yeah. I can tell you there's one minister, former minister, I don't just like her because of her role in government grant. When we got some grant for Nollywood, the son became a filmmaker, collected so much money, made the only film he has ever made in the world. When the mother left, he never made any film. Up to today, he has not made any of film. Because the mother was in charge. So when such grant comes, those that have people up there get this grant. So this is the place we say we don't want intervention from government. But when it comes to helping, assisting us in certain areas, we want them.
Do they have the power?
Yeah, this is where I am coming in, because, you know, at the very beginning of Nollywood, or even before Nollywood, it was film, which you had to go to cinemas. Okay, so if you made a film, it goes to cinema, and then you could say the film office then, Ministry Film Office, and could you know, you had the film censorship, so you could decide whether it's Rex Cinema, Apollo Cinema, whatever. You had that. Then when digital came and Nollywood came, it became home video, which is why the agency changed its name from Film Office to Film Video Censorship Office. Now with digital and everything going onto digital platforms, YouTube and other Facebook and other things, perhaps it's now important that we see that transition that happened from film to video to digital.
Good.
Do you get my point? So there has to be a change in the regulation, and maybe that's something that stakeholders, you guys need to take to Dr. Shaibu to say, face the government, face the National Assembly, let's attempt some kind of amendment to capture this new, because without that legal framework, you cannot regulate them. And
So
I think it's
my
important.
take on this is this. When you want to regulate it, it becomes a big problem, because all things are going to come into camera. Camera is the new language. And that what it means is that with the camera and with the AI intelligence, I can speak my native language and record and do anything, and then put it and say, put it for me in Chinese, they will get it in Chinese. Put it for me in Japan, they will get it in Japan. Now, how do you stop me?
It's smart regulation. What is happening is that Nigerian authorities apply dumb regulation to smart people, and then they end up failing. But if you take smart regulation and you do a bit of finding what I call, you do your research, just like you did to make your movie, you do research. Who are these people? Where are they using it? Why are they using it? How do they make money from it? So people who do put stuff on YouTube, why are they doing it? So that they can make money. How do they get their money? Through banks, through cash, through follow the money. Americans did it during the war. They said, forget about who the criminal, let's follow the money. So follow the money. That's a good way to start.
So now, you know, when they banned, was it Twitter in Nigeria? What happened?
Yeah, people went
People went through purchasing
virtual VPNs
from other countries, and they continued.
Yes.
So what
because the government was applying a dumb regulation.
What I'm saying is that in a situation, instead of going out for outright listen, they can classify more classification. Let it be free space. But in free space, you start teaching morality to the children who can say, I don't go here, I will not do this.
Which will be difficult.
Why is it going to be difficult?
A lot of children want to go where you say don't go.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
There must be classification.
So it's not going to say when it is
no,
there must be regulation.
why can you regulate
how
can you regulate air?
No, you can't.
This thing is air.
You can't. China has great regulations. I don't agree with all their policies. Yeah. But I can tell you, as far as internet regulation is concerned, the Chinese are global leaders.
Yeah. In Nigeria, and some, like we talk about YouTube now, they can shoot a whole YouTube movie in 1 or 2 days. So you can imagine an actor going through 50 scenes a day, and tomorrow he's going to another set. This is the problem you're having now. Now he doesn't have time think about his...
Even to decompress from one role, one character into the other one.
I shot a movie with one of my colleagues. He was in 2 sets.
At the same time?
At the same time, yes. So he came rushing from the other one. They said, okay, it's in 12. It's okay. Let's go. He was giving us
the others.
Because he just finished the 12 in that place.
They don't
so it's this problem. So most of us don't have time for checkups. Now that the Actors Guild, we have HMO, we have insurance, we have pension schemes. But once you become a star, you don't care about those things. And then once you fall sick, you now return to the guild. The guild, and let's check his HMO. No. Now we go social media, go begging. The actors particularly, let me not talk about other departments. I'm talking for the actors because this is where I belong. They're not taking their health seriously. We can see somebody with diabetes, serious one. You see him galloping alcohol. Telling to stop saying, one thing will kill him. So we are not taking it serious.
It worries me. There's a famous actor who in social media will see him somewhere, will see him in another place. We see today they say he's not well. Tomorrow they say they've seen him somewhere. Tomorrow, I mean, and for a lot of, it's not good for the image of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, because you think of this person, a lot of people who'll be watching it will say, oh, this guy was a superstar in the 90s and the early 2000s, and to imagine him ending up this way. And like you said, a lot of actors who have other medical challenges, it is not a good look for our community, because we're all in this together one way or the other. It would not be possible, for example, and this is just an idea, for every production that is sanctioned over a certain budget, because this is what they do in Hollywood, you see every movie project in Hollywood has a budget limit. So if you're doing a movie over, say, 20 million budget or 10 million budget, certain things are paid for. So all the actors coming in, your health, I pay subscription for everybody. So if if it's the annual, if I've not paid, I'll pay for the next year. I don't know when you get my point. So if my budget is over 20 million, okay, sanctioned by the guild, because the Producers Guild in America is not just about belonging. There's a threshold. So if I'm doing a movie that the budget is $50 million, for example, there are certain things, and all my the actors will need to have a caravan, as what they call them. This one will need this. This one will need this. So health, for example, health insurance should go into that, so that even us as producers or as executive producers, when we are planning our budget, we'll say those things should put into consideration. Say, for example, I'm going to bring this actor, this is the budget. Health, yes, I'm going to pay that 50,000 or 20,000, whatever, 100,000 for that person.
That will help to calm down some people, because what makes somebody crazy is when he's thinking of the expenses. Now, if we have that, just like the insurance, the health, it matters a lot. And these things are not big.
They're not big.
But there must be a way to take that thing away from what you pay.
It'd be a direct deduction. Yeah, so it goes straight to
go straight for that issue. But that's where the guilds and the unions should come into existence, because these things should be channeled through them.
Most of the senior actors don't belong to the guild.
Are you serious?
Yes. On tribal basis.
How?
Yes. There are some people who belong to the ANTAP or...
Yeah, I know ANTAP is like...
They don't want to be part of Actors Guild. There are some people who belong to Nollywood that are actors, they want to be part of Actors Guild. So that is why when we say we should come into the federation, we say no. If we are Actors Guild, let's be Actors Guild. In America, we have Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
Every actor
belongs to
no matter where
even in the UK, they have this equity.
Yes, equity, yeah.
Actors. But in Nigeria, it's still segmented to, look, the Yorubas have their own, the Achi people have their own, and they're all within the same federation.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you say Actors Guild, before you register now in Actors Guild, your HMO is inclusive.
Okay.
But what about the big ones? Because even these younger ones registering, anything happens to them, we don't even remember them. It's the big ones you're talking about. And how many of these big ones are ready to do what the guild want?
That's what is there, because at times, like Emeka stated, that you have to force people to take certain things and make it work for their behalf, on their behalf. You see, if they work on that and let the others and publicize it, how it's been helping that group, I think the others will come forward. Because I believe that, because like some people are looking at it like it's more than that.
They think it's some big thing.
They think that it's like $1 billion or that money that is not reachable. But most of them make that money.
To be honest, on behalf of the channel that I work for, which is Afia, I mean, we'll be willing to take up that issue. Even if you guys have the TVCs, the commercials to run on behalf of AGN, we'll run it for free because we need it affects, because every time I see that story of
somebody that's begging for,
it breaks my heart. And these are people I know. If Universal picks me, Netflix picks me to work on a project, Netflix says Emeka is earning 1 million. A percentage of my fee is going to Screen Actors. Yes, that's. I think that's the next level of advocacy.
Group life insurance.
It should.
And the HMO stuff.
So I'm going to say something controversial. So I worked on a project 10 years ago. Yes, we know those things are contractual. So I finish working, I get paid for this work. And you know, that's a big fight that happened in Hollywood last year when actors are saying, with digital, everybody using my images and my things, you know, how do I get compensation down the line? So is it something that I think that maybe the Actors Guild would like to look into? Because, look, Aki and Popo's images on
all over the place.
Jesus.
They should be making some money.
I mean, at this point, those guys should just sit back every year. They don't look at their in dollars though. Just in fact, every time you use their image as a meme,
you pay some money.
If you, it's 1 cent, 2 cents.
Gentlemen, the producer provided us with a game, and just open up, dip your hand, anything you pick, a question, you answer the question. And if it's to drop money, drop it.
I like that. So who goes first?
Who goes first?
Skipo as the elder. Yeah.
Because when he comes there, that one guy first, okay, I go. I don't see any question here. Okay. You see, elder this time don't survive.
Ooh. There's a question. Are you Nollywood? The question goes, are you Nollywood? Well, I'm part of Nollywood. You know, I mean, I can't say that I am Nollywood, but I'm part of it. I mean, I've been involved in Nollywood.
That means you
from the early 90s. I worked with Amaka Igwe. I did acquisitions at MultiChoice. I regulated the industry, and I'm still a stakeholder. So yeah,
you are.
So yeah.
Rumor has it that one of us is a top investor in fame. One of us here.
That's not a rumor now. You are. You are.
Yes, answer the
question. This time I believe that there must be a question for me. Do you believe in the future of the film industry? Yes. Nollywood has come to become the second largest, by default, the second largest film industry in the world. And you don't come to that kind of, China has been fighting for it, Russia has been fighting for it, Japan has been fighting for it. America is fighting because we took them to third position. That's Hollywood. And at times we believe that it's a joke. It's not a joke. They are not joking with it. How do we understand that? I give you an instance. Netflix comes into the country. They tell us that They are now teaching us how to write scripts. Nobody is teaching Africa how to write scripts.
Story.
Once upon a time.
Okay. Ooh, this is a long. All right, let me read this out. Rumor has it that a certain Nigerian film awards are rigged, with winners predetermined by industry insiders. Is this true?
Yes.
Oh.
Which award? Where is that one?
One award is this one, the DSTV, what is it called?
AMVCA.
AMVCA. How can I vote for a film I've not watched and it's winning an award? A new film watched by the jury out there, not watched it, and it's winning an award. Is it rigged or not? And it's viewers' choice. I have not viewed the film. So what is it called?
Ooh, that's hot.
Last one. Do you think the actor of today are better than the old Nollywood actors? Nope.
Okay.
They're not.
All right. I actually think that the reason why Aki and Popo and the memes you see are so popular worldwide, Snoop Dogg even posted it from time to time, it's because that is so true. The old actors were just so much better, so much real. You can't put in Kemo versus who, there's nobody self. You can't put even my brother Steve, who, there's no, I mean, it's just, Aki and Popo, or Genevieve, okay, who now?
Because
Who?
these
Who?
old actors worked. These old actors work with.
Or Motala, who?
No, these old actors work with directors who are really audio directors.
The old actors, Genevieve tried an experiment with Lion's Heart.
With Lionheart, yes.
Old actors.
But they say that when such actors come out to play, they play good because they learn from the old, who demanded for a level of performance.
Because you are deep and you are detailed.
Yeah.
These days, directors do much. They've gone to so many schools. They still have a lot to do. They still have a lot.
The nuance is lost on
patience of working with an actor, getting what is in the actor. There's something in an actor. I told you a story here about what he told me about Sam Loco.
Yes.
If not for that, I would have the confidence
to play with him. Yeah.
Because everybody was afraid that Sam Loco, oh my word. But say, you are better than him. Look above him. And he played very well. So instead of me buying Gouda for Sam Loco, he bought Gouda for me. Talk about good.
Yeah, talk about
yes. So how many directors will do this? I remember I was doing a film with Richard. I have a new actor. Then we had the lady was so much afraid. Seeing Richard alone was a problem.
Yeah, that's RMD. Yeah.
So one take, two take, we couldn't do anything. I said, director, can I handle this? He said, yes. I said, when I get the door for this house, babe, play the door with RMD. We're outside. After some time,
that's actually.
They started playing together and we came and we got everything right. Because I saw the fear in her. The old director saw the fear in some of us.
And had to.
And find a way to.
Yeah. But these days, the directors don't even look at what the actor
They just look at the script and say, this is the script, go do it.
I can speak good English, has good physique, and this thing go and do
You see, let me tell you what. You see, what is there is that I remember once, even New Masquerade, I was directing Jegede. There was a girl, Jegede was giving problem because of this girl. So I gave the girl the part. It was to slap Jegede. Jegede brought the girl. And I called the girl outside. I said, look, you want to be a good actor? You want to be a great actor? He said, yes, I will make you a great actor. Do you know how to slap somebody? He said, slap? I said, yeah. Do you know how to slap? He said, yeah, you can try. I said, okay. Then I set up Jegede. I said, this time just put your face like this to this girl and say, then Jegede came to that. and put his face. I've told the girl, land a good slap. If you slap him well, I make you an actor. Jegede put his face like this. This girl landed Jegede one big slap. Jegede was causing confusion in my camp then. You know, he gave Jegede one slap. Bah! I said, cut, take two. We set it up again. I called the guy. I said, so you don't know how to slap somebody? Simple slap, and you want to be a star? So, take two, stand by, everybody. Jegede, I said, Jegede, you didn't do it. We just put it well like this. Jegede now, the girl landed Jegede another slap. I said, cut! Stand by for take three.
Some directors are
Take three. When he landed Jegede, I called the girl and I said, what's wrong with you? You can't, simple slap. Slap. And you want to act, you can't slap. Take three. Jegede now put the face like this girl, land Jegede this thing. Jegede eye closed. Then I call rap. To be in the midst of my good friends here, because it's not always you come from, after years of being absent in the country and years of not being around, you come and meet with my good friend Emeka and Steve. These are people from beginning of the business. I met them and I knew them. People who know me too, in my own elements. So, but I'm happy that Nollywood has become number 2 in the world, global. And what we're talking now as part of my research work is how to use Nollywood for the good of the country. Yeah. That's my research work for my PhD dissertation in film studies. And I believe that at the end, we'll be able to put up that kind of writing that people will read and go back to. And also be able to write this part of my story. And I've given a lot of the story to this house today. So fly with it. Let Nollywood soar.
Yes.
Let it grow. Thank you very much.
The Skippo. Cheers. We'll allow coffee this time.